From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of evenings, LA, with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, direct from Santa Monica, California tonight. In this incredible recording tonight, we go over the deal that was reached with that recon that sends it to a vote this coming week. Here we go. This coming week, the recon vote will pass the House of Representatives. This is a confirmed vote now set by Nancy Pelosi, in spite of or despite the lack of a Congressional Budget Office report. No concern across the board with that. This recon will pay you a lot of money, upwards of about $15,000 across all these incredible clusters of checks. It's huge money, and it's in this recon, and I detail it in this video. Then we turn to the exciting details of student loan debt forgiveness. More debt could be forgiven across the board. I have that in this video as well tonight. And then we turn to fifth stimulus. Get ready for fifth stimulus. Definitely needed in view of the inflationary rate coming this month and coming next month as well. But as we go into a big, bold, beautiful evening's broadcast, I'm going to do something a little bit different than I've done before. I'm bringing back some third stimulus, baby. Third stimulus is coming on back tonight. As viewers have been wondering and questioning, why can't I get some money for this and that and this and that under fourth stimulus? I said it's available under third stimulus. What are you doing? I didn't know that. Oh, maybe you're a new viewer. So guess what? The wonders of third stimulus has paid the viewers on average about $45,000 is back, and you would love to start next week with $45,000 and end it with $85,000 as Johnny did as well. All those details and more are coming up in tonight's recording. We got a huge monolith of a recording. It's bigger than a San Francisco hairstyle, and it starts right now. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful evening and hope you're doing well. Well, here we go. The vote will be happening in this coming week. The House of Representatives going back into session and voting on your recon. The vote has been set and it's confirmed, and away we go. Despite whether we have a Congressional Budget Office report, the vote will still happen, and that vote will solidify that the House will pass a massive $2 trillion plus recon that'll pay you about $15,000 across all these incredible programs. It's huge money. It's for you. It is incredible. We'll be turning over to some student loan debt forgiveness. That debt could be forgiven $10,000. The president making that offer, and the Democrats should take it. Then we turn to fifth stimulus. Wow. This is definitely needed in view of the new inflation numbers released this week. I have those details and more as we go into a big broadcast. But guess what? Third stimulus is back on, baby. It is back in this recording. I'm excited you're here. And this, my friends, is LA, America's most talked about financial news channel. Live in the morning, tape in the afternoons. Coming up next is Evening's Countdown and also Street of Stimulus, part of our 3-hour programming block every night on this channel before Sirloin and Javita. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers and 140 million viewers for a reason. I show you how to get the big sums of money on this channel. I show you how to get the big sums of money and how we cash checks, not track them. Like this video and consider becoming a member. Let's go over what we're going to be covering in this video broadly first, so you get the roadmap. It's a big video tonight. Tonight we're going to go over a lot of breaking news. First we're going to go over the programs that are in this recon that'll pay you a lot of money. Then we're going to go over the breaking news with Nancy Pelosi confirming the vote is happening on that recon and this coming week. Wow, there we go. Then after that, we come back and we dissect each of these programs one at a time, go over the checks that pay you in this recon, and then we go into student loan debt forgiveness, fifth stimulus, and I'm bringing back third stimulus to wrap it up. It's a big, bold, beautiful evening. I'm excited you're here, and I'm going to insert some commentary along the way because I've seen some comments that are deeply confusing and troubling to me. So I'm going to insert my commentary somewhere across the board. I'll tell you what's happening. We're going to start with this incredible, wonderful fourth stimulus recon. that passed the subcommittee several weeks ago and is going to pass finally in the House of Representatives this coming week. And across all these incredible classes of checks, 3 of them with add-ons, currently 2, you would get about $15,000 of money. It's huge because on the third stimulus, we were at this channel in spring of this year, I showed viewers how to get big money on the third stimulus. They got on average about $45,000 from rent, utilities, mortgage, assistance, and other items across the board like SNAP. The great news is that the same programs are coming back under 4 states again, and which pay you at least $15,000 just to start. The catch is that there's other checks in this recon on top of that. So the $15,000 number is on the low end. Let's go to the first cluster of checks and let's see the status of them. When I say front end, it means it's a check line or hand. When I say back end, it means you have to do something, like buy the car and then you get a refund check for it. Here we go. Hazard back end essential workers at the earned income tax credit 1 more year. Elder care, $4,000 a year, that is front end. $4,000 a year for the young children as well, for caring for them. Then money to repair your home if you live in a low income community, it is in there. Hallelujah. That is a front end check. They got the CTC, the child tax credit for those children, 1 more year front end check. They also got the health care, $850. Excuse me, $550 checks for those college students. 1 more of those as well. And then finally, the back end check, $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, all U.S. auto manufacturing. Here we go to the first add-on, and it is deliciousness. It comes via Los Angeles from Maxine Waters, a wonderful legislator from here in Los Angeles. She got it in there. The free money front end for the purchase of your first home. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. She wanted $25,000 for it. She's not giving that number. She's giving you a little bit less, and it's wonderful. And that's the first time home purchase. Stay with me, get those pen and paper, take those notes, and I'll be answering your questions later in this video. Second cluster of checks, let's go over those, and it starts with paid leave. Got it in there. Wow. They got in their child care programs. They got the household tax credit back end, pre-kindergarten checks front end, and then they got the money to weatherize your home. That is huge. So most of those checks are front end, including that paid leave. It's a lot of money. Stay with me, I'll explain it later. But weatherize your home. Definitely need to weatherize your home because of the holidays. And you never know when Santa Claus comes dressed up as a lobster, and it's really not Santa Claus, it's Mitch. Weatherize the home quickly. Don't let him in. Let's go to the second add-on. And it comes from Bob Casey. That incredible add-on from Bob Casey is the big money for my seniors. Not directly a check, but a covered benefit. And that is the home health care. It's fully free for seniors and people on disabilities. He wanted $250, and he got a little bit less, about $200 billion. It's incredible. It's coming up later in this video. Let's go to the third add-on of checks. Here we go. Lots of checks for you in this cluster. Let's go through each one at a time. Free school meals for all, $65 per month when they're not in school. Checks, front end, and then covered benefit. They got cheaper prescription medication. They got immigration reform benefit. Farmers don't know. Internet don't know. Clean energy out. Workers don't know. And then the Medicare expansion. Got some of it in there. Let's go over the details of that. They got the hearing in there, and they got the Medicare expansion across those 12 holdout states, the Obamacare, but they did not get in the dental and the vision checks or the lower the eligibility age of Medicare. That comes on the Senate side. A lot of work to be done on the Senate side. Which brings us to our third add-on, and that third add-on is MSC, which stands for monthly or multiple IRS stimulus check. It's always been a Senate play. It's always been a Senate move because it's always been the senators who would take care of it more than anyone else. Those 6 senators have told thousands of viewers in the last few months that they would insert it on the Senate side. They haven't had the legislation. They're going to get it as early as the end of next week. Those 6 senators are the 2 C's, the 2 W's, and the 2 S's. Coons, Casey, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, Schumer. How many people did you advocate for with today? Incredible. Now, what's important to understand is there's 2 opportunities to do this on the Senate side. The first one is Senate supplement. You want the Senate supplement. It slows the process down because as Chuck Schumer, Bernie, and Ron Wyden say, we have a lot of stuff to add to this recon still. Stuff to add to the recon means more checks to you. You want them to add lots of more checks because we're at $15,000 to start of these programs. You want them to add more checks on top of that. Second opportunity is vote-a-rama. That's vote-a-rama is a 2-day process at the very end in which the senators introduce changes to whatever they were given in this House bill. House members are taking care of it. They're not putting it in there. The senators can do it, of course, during vote-a-rama. Vote-a-rama is very part of the legislation. Under third stimulus, there was no student loan debt forgiveness as a tax-free event until Chuck and Liz took care of it. Before that, you were set to pay almost $10,000 to the IRS for your debt to be forgiven by the federal government. Now it's a tax-free event because of the wonderful vote-a-rama. What's important to understand is that this is a graphic. Here's this graphic. It's sort of big. It's covering my face. You can't see me. I'm between the S, I'm between the C. And there still seems to be some people that say, you're not talking about MSE. Let's just see. This graphic has been on this channel for about 2 months. Every single video, 16 videos a day, with the same graphic. They say I don't talk about the MSE. I just don't know what's going on. Do they not tune into this part where the MSE comes across the screen? Maybe I should just throw the MSE up in front of my face, just sporadically, whenever I'm talking throughout the video. Because it's always at this point in this video. It's always here. And so I'm not particularly clear. On the 1 o'clock afternoon show, this actually came up in the live chat before the show aired. So I wasn't on set yet, so I had time to respond. And the viewer said, you don't talk about MSA anymore. I said, I always do. This graphic is on air. What, you don't see it? I talk about it. I explain when it would go in. And then the viewer said, well, I just want to know it's happening. Well, wait a second. That suggests to me the viewer's not listening to the video because the happening part is the Senate side. Has always been more the Senate side than the House side. We know that the House bill is passing this coming week, and we know it's not in the House side, and that the Senate side is the side that would always put it in there, and there's always viewers that say, it's always been a Senate play. We've always started with Coons, Casey, Warren, Sanders, Schumer. In fact, we started with WR back in May, who picked up the phone and called Chris Coons. That was the very first person. We had Brother Joshua, Bernie, and all that duration that went through Donnie and all those other people. And then it dawned on me that some people really perhaps wanted to see these sort of graphics from a month ago or 2 months ago, which haven't been on this channel for a while. These graphics, this person said, and I called in and I heard from this person, I heard from that person, I heard from this person. And then I said, wait a second, that's not the purpose of those graphics. The purpose of those graphics was not to say, oh, sit back and eat your donut and feel comfortable because you got a statement from a senator's office in the month of May or June or July. You can see later in this video that there's a wonderful provision that was added to the recon last week. It's huge. It helps a lot of Americans people. And this week, there's a push to take it out. We've had a lot of provisions in the recon that were out and in and out and in and in and out. And when we go over to the Senate, there's a lot of provisions that are on battleground to be removed. So you don't want to see old graphics of what someone heard when calling and advocating 3 months ago and say, oh, I'm so good. I'll just enjoy the chocolate eclair. No, you don't want to do that. Moreover, this is also what a little bit of commentary tonight is that there are some people who are laser focused on only one instrument. No bueno. No bueno. As one viewer said beautifully on social media, it would really help. The MSE would really help. These other things are good. The MSE would really help. Absolutely. That's the best way to say it. It is part of several instruments you should want and you should learn about and push. If you're a person who only wants one instrument and nothing else, the question always is, why not? Because I don't qualify for anything, which means you're not listening to the videos. Which means you're not listening to the videos. And guess what? If you're a new viewer, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Because coming up later in this video tonight is Third Stimulus is back on this channel. They'll pay you $45,000. And as Johnny started 1 week with zero, he ended with $85,000. Would you like $85,000? Because news alert. MSC was never going to pay anyone $85,000. MSC was never going to pay anyone $85,000. Third Stimulus is paying viewers on average $45,000. MSC was never going to pay $45,000. Many viewers have gotten from Third Stimulus over $100,000, and I'm going to show you later in this video. That is what's coming up. But it's important to advocate. MSC is part of the equation. People say, you've changed your tune. I haven't changed my tune. I don't sing, or at least on tune, on key. You changed your tune. No, it has always been a Senate play. It has always been a Senate play. We have always advocated for it with senators, and then we added AOC and Omar and Pelosi in there. But guess what? When the roads and bridges went for a vote, guess who voted against the roads and bridges? AOC and Omar, and voted against Jalapal. Show it dissection? Yeah. It shows that the people that are supporting us don't even really support the progressives. That AOC and Omar are sort of, not even the progressives, they're sort of in their ancillary group. So it's important to advocate across the board, and that message of advocacy is incredible. And no time or place to beat up on one another's, because someone was saying people were just being tough on one another in the live chat. Everyone needs to advocate. Separate your week. 2 C's, 2 W's, 2 S's per week. Pick up the phone and call 2 different offices per day. They have in total between congressional senators' offices received more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. Everyone's amazed by the touching of stories. Now they have a better understanding of what Americans are going through to get through this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories, and they're the voice of the people across you, LA, as you have become too loud to be ignored. This is from the chief of staff to the number one guy on the recon that wants to give you an MSC. And please continue your encouragement for continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you have become until this becomes law. There you go. You need to advocate, but you also need to learn, and you also need to listen to all the incredible programs across all this recon, because it's first come, first serve. The spirit of this channel on day one was several programs. The spirit of this channel in the middle of its lifetime span, several programs. I always cover many programs because we're here to cash checks. We're not here to track checks. If you can get $40,000 this week, you get the $40,000 this week. And guess what? It's coming up later in this video. I'm going to show you how to get that incredible money. But first, we're going to go over the incredible House deal. The House deal signals that the vote will be happening this coming week. And guess what? With the vote happening next week, I expect everyone that sort of disappeared for a few days because they're not in session. I'll check back when they're in session. Well, they're back in session next week. And that vote will happen whether or not the CBO report is released. I'll explain all the details. Then we're going to turn to the incredible programs. This is where you need to make a promise to yourself. You need to know every single thing you need to know about these programs. If I don't cover something in the programs, you have a complicated question, you send me a DM. You know what I love more than anything else is when someone sends me a complicated DM saying about that program, if I did this and this and this, how do I qualify? I love that because it means the person's listening, the person's ready to get that money, the person wants the money, and that I absolutely love. Is that you? I want it to be you tonight. Student loan debt forgiveness, more debt could be forgiven across the board, and I have the details as well. And then we turn to fifth stimulus. And my commentary about inflation, if we have time, because I want to cover third stimulus later in this video, because we're bringing it back, baby. Those details and more as we come up in this commercial break. I'll see you in 60 seconds, and be right back. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now as we go into a big evening's LALATE second half as a House deal has been done, and that vote will be happening this coming week on your incredible recon. The House members going to session and voting and passing your recon, and away we go off to the Senate. Despite the absence of any Congressional Budget Office report, it may not be done next week, no worries. These programs will pay you a lot of money, over $15,000 on the House side, and that's before we head to the Senate side. The Senate is vowing to add more provisions on top of that. Get that pen paper ready. This is where you gleam. This is where you shine. You're going to learn those incredible sums of money in this recording. Then we turn over to student loan debt forgiveness for a blink of an eye, and then I'll be turning over to fifth stimulus before we cover over back to our wonderful third stimulus. More third stimulus is being paid out across the board. It's coming up right after COLA raise. We got third, fourth, and fifth stimulus all in one video tonight. We got a big one, and it starts right now. And this, my friends, is Evenings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Coming up next is Countdown. Then Stream Stimulus, part of our 3-hour programming block tonight. Stay with me. Subscribe, hit that like button, and consider becoming a member to get that newsletter tonight, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And with that, let's go over all the dramatics that are unfolding right now, and here we go. The incredible news is that this coming week, the House of Representatives will pass your wonderful $2 trillion recon. The recon will then go over to the Senate. This comes as the news of Pelosi really making solidification of the confusion many like myself had about the wording. The wording was an agreement reached by Pelosi last week with the moderate Democrats, which said they would vote in favor of the recon upon release of a Congressional Budget Office report, no later than the week of November 15th. It sounds like they would still vote by no later than the week of November 15th, but what if the CBO report is not released? She was asked that question in Scotland this week. And she answered less than 24 hours ago, we're still calling the vote no later than this coming week, whether or not the CBO report is going to be released. The CBO report will not be available by the end of next week, we now seem to suggest. Congressional Budget Office, CBO, nonpartisan organization, asked to generate a report about the recon, explain how much does it cost, how much does it pay for. And that report not going to be ready next week. No worries. That was the agreement. We'll vote and upon the release of the CBO report, but no later than the week of November 15th. And there you go. Programs in. These incredible programs across many clusters of checks pay you on average about $15,000. Let's step back for just a little bit of my commentary right now. On day one, I pressed this record on this channel, and I covered EIDL, PPP, PUA, on the very first day of this channel. Those are all programs that you have to learn how to do something. And you have to listen and understand, I click button number 1, I put this number in button number 2. It was all about information. Information is king. In the middle of this channel, in the middle of fall of 2020, covering then rent, and then also LWA and FPUC and other unusual programs. Fall 2020, showing people how to get money for rent. Spring 2021, showing people how to get all that money for rent and then getting third stimulus. Rent, utilities, mortgages, and SNAP. Huge monies, $45,000 average viewer getting from third stimulus. Third stimulus was a behemoth with a lot of programs that I showed viewers how to get it. I launched Purple Hawks to describe pouncing and getting money before anyone else. And viewers on the third stimulus got an average of $45,000. Fourth stimulus is exactly like third stimulus, just much bigger. Lots of programs, and the great news is that if you've gotten money before from this channel under second or third stimulus for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance, it's coming back under fourth stimulus. A lot more of it, with other checks on top of that. Which then brings me to my commentary right now. It seems that somewhere along the line, some people wish to say two fake statements. I only care about MSC, and I don't qualify for anything else. Let's be very frank with you. If you say you don't qualify for anything, then you either do qualify for everything and you just don't want to apply for it, or you don't qualify for anything because you make too much money and you won't be qualifying for MSC. MSC income levels are the same income levels as these programs. And sometimes I have the opportunity to be in the live chat and ask the viewer when they say that, and they'll say, I was told third stimulus was only about children. Gotta listen to the videos. Gotta listen to the videos. Now, I know on YouTube, I can see how long people are on the video. And I know you're listening to the videos, so I know you're listening to the programs. You absolutely have to listen to the programs. This is a little bit of a tough love moment. What's tough love? When I say, hey, you really need to toughen it up here. You're not staying on focus. The issue is that I'm also getting some messages where people saying, I can't make rent, I can't make utilities, I can't make food, and I really need for stimulus to happen. That is covered in a third stimulus. So that's why I'm bringing back third stimulus right away. If you're having problems with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, you get that money from third stimulus. Now, what I'm seeing also, because I got a good sense of this from the 1 o'clock show today, is that some people aren't saying it in a negative way. They've just been misinformed somewhere else, maybe on broadcast media or print. One viewer simply said, I was told I don't get anything from third stimulus. So I never looked at third stimulus. So I found your channel and now I'm very focused on this. And I said, wait a second. There was all this money for you, and the viewers don't know it. So this is why I'm bringing everything into the same recording together. So if it sounds like it's going to be a lot, it's going to be a lot. Here we go. Fourth stimulus, we're going to do first, then we're going to go back to third stimulus. Fourth stimulus, paid leave got in there. Paid leave is a lot of money. Take your pen and paper, make notes, have questions, send me DMs. Paid leave covers money if you have to stay home from work due to illness or sickness or birth of a child in the household, or your child, or you're giving birth, and it's not COVID related. How much does it pay? A lot. It pays thousands of dollars per year, because it's up to 4 weeks of potential benefits per year, all income levels. It's a check that's going to come directly to you from the federal government. So you're an Uber Lyft driver, you don't have an employer, you're 1099, and if you're a department store worker, you're a W-2. It's huge amounts of money. How much does it pay? And it's all income levels. It's all income levels. Department store worker who makes $150,000 or Uber driver who makes $20,000, you're both going to get it. But it's based upon the amount of money you make on an annual salary. So under third stimulus, it was going to be $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. Most of you will fall around the $35,000 annual salary. That would be $800 a week. So 800 times 4 weeks, $3,200, $1,700 times 4 weeks. Yeah, it's just huge sums of money. On the low end, a $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. It's a lot of money. Now, you saw me mention earlier in this video how how certain provisions are in jeopardy of going out of this recon, even as we're heading over to the Senate. How is that possible? The first one that's possible today we see is SALT. These provisions are all passed on the House side, and they're going to be passed formally as early as this coming Monday. But SALT is now a battleground for the Senate because the progressives are saying we're going to try to take it out on the Senate side. What is SALT? SALT is wonderful. SALT is a lifting of the cap on the amount you can deduct on your federal tax return of how much you pay in state and local taxes. When you go to pay your state tax, your local state tax, you pay a certain amount of money. Well, you can only deduct up to $10,000 of that on the federal tax return under the Trump 2017 tax code. No longer the case. Gothenheimer once got it into the House bill at $72,500 you can deduct on the federal tax return of what you pay in state and local taxes. Why is this important for you? This is important for you because of what the progressives are doing. They don't like it and they're vowing on the Senate side to take it out. There's no reason for the progressives to dislike it. This is just where they're battling the wrong battles. This is a very helpful provision in states like New York and New Jersey. So you're going to see these type of battles. A provision that's really good that some people that are good people, progressives, trying to take it out. Very bad. Job training, $40 billion in free job training. Yeah, so now you can learn how to make me some bacon. Medicaid gap fix. This is big. I have a lot of people asking me about insurance. So there's 12 states that are Republican governors that do not want to pay for Obamacare. So there is a new workaround plan in this recon that'll give you subsidized private insurance if you're low income in those 12 states. These are the holdout states. This is the workings of Raphael Warnock and Jim Clyburn. Immigration reform is in the recon, no checks for anyone. Then housing assistance, which is lots of different items. Okay, so here we go to housing assistance. You know what? I think this is perfect timing. I think this is perfect timing to bring in a third stimulus. Here you have $150 billion of housing assistance in the recon. This is fourth stimulus recon. And ironically, it brings back everything from third stimulus and adds things on top of that. So let's go over what housing looks like under third stimulus that is repeated under fourth stimulus, since we're right at that in this recording. Perfect timing. So under third stimulus, you can get massive sums of money for rent. How much money can people on this channel gotten for rent? These are the numbers they've gotten for rent. $27,000, $25,000, $24,000, $20,000 for Nisi under that graphic. These massive sums of money for rent are available by reaching out to 6 places: your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county house authority, your state hall, and your state house authority. And the key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. That's in the third stimulus. And if you got one round or two rounds before, you can get another round under third stimulus. When fourth stimulus becomes law, you can get it again. And there'll be so much of it, you'll likely get rent with this channel into December of 2022. Utility assistance was in third stimulus, and this is back under fourth stimulus in this housing provision. 7,000, 6,000, no. These numbers have gone much higher since this graphic, which was, I think, made in about August this year. Mark's brother-in-law got 15,000. I think Mark is now at $16,000 for utilities. It is water, heating oil, electric, gas. It's going to be very big, folks. We're going into the heating oil season, and heating oil is up 51% year to date. You want to get this money under third stimulus right now. And you want to get combo items. You want to get as many combo items as possible. Here are people who got multiple items for those programs across the board, 50,000. Very, very common that I had viewers like Johnny, 80,000, Mark, 100,000, Lorraine, 110,000, Mark's brother-in-law, 100,000. A lot of viewers got big sums of money from this housing relief under third stimulus. So, if you're a viewer and you're watching this channel and you're having problems making rent, utilities, mortgage, do not wait for fourth stimulus. No time or place, because I want to I always say I want to eat you up alive if you say, I need that MSC under fourth stimulus to pay my rent. I just want to take the script and throw it on the screen because third stimulus pays the money for rent. Why are you waiting around for something in the future when I can get you rent right now? So perhaps it's my fault. Perhaps I was not bringing third stimulus on the channel enough in the last recent weeks. So here it is. There is third stimulus. Get that money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance right now. Do not wait for under fourth stimulus. But that's how it will look again under fourth stimulus. It's also detailed in the newsletter if you remember this channel. Now, what are the new programs that are added in for housing in fourth stimulus that are not in third stimulus? First, home repairs. I get a lot of questions about this since last year. Home repairs, we've never had a provision in anything. We've had small home repairs from the nonprofits, like broken windows. But this is where they're talking about. Home repairs for low-income community homes, it's in there under fourth stimulus. I think it will be a grant. It will be front end. We don't know how they're going to do it. Then, the weatherize your home, all types of homes, which is sustaining, hurricanes or natural disasters. And then we have the first-time home buyers. This would be a grant that would come to you or to the seller during the escrow period in your name for the purchase of a new home. So you would actually be in the selling position in the buying position to buy the home with the seller. First time, your first home, single family, does not necessarily need to be brick and mortar so far we see, and we don't know the income levels. There you go. That was third stimulus slid into fourth stimulus. In-home healthcare, $150 billion to support seniors and also people on disabilities. The Pell's grant, $550 checks for college students who are currently on the Pell's grant. That's a front end. That's a right now front end check. There's nothing retroactive in the recon. So Pell's grant is not paying this check out to people who were on Pell's 2 years ago. We have $12,500 back-end checks. These are tax credits for buying an electric vehicle made in a U.S. union shop. So this is Ford, GM, Chrysler, and all their subsidiaries. And that means electric, purely electric, not hybrid, electric, and that's only union shops. Case in point, Chevy Bolt, one of the cheapest of the cars, $30,000. So up to $12,500 for a $30,000 Chevy Bolt. Great news. Then they got $65 per child when they're not in school for meals. I believe that'll go up all the way through high school. When they are in school, their meals will be covered. And there you go. That brings us to the very important cheaper prescription medication. Cheaper prescription medication is one of those few things in this recon you don't have to do anything for. It's for Medicare, and it would happen instantly. What's at issue? Over 20 years ago, Medicare was rolled out, and the big pharma said, I want to charge you something. And under the charter agreements of Medicare, they had to pay whatever big pharma asked them for those medications. For 20-something years, legislators tried to push back and change the law, but there was 15 lobbyists for big pharma pushing against them. Suddenly, we got progress. The progress and the achievement came with the big win from Joseph Biden 2 Wednesdays ago. He picked up the phone, called Kristen Sinema, the Democratic Arizona senator. Kristen, you need to come on board. It's been too long. And she said yes. The biggest win of this president's recon, never really covered because they covered climate instead of this that week. This was the story they should have run. So how is this going to work? Let's go over the details. You're paying for insulin right now if you're on diabetes and you're on Medicare, and you're paying upwards of $900 a dose, says Mark's wife. So now you'll pay $35 a dose. It's the most expensive medication, like arthritis, like cancer, like diabetes. Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D. It starts with 20 preferred medications, the most expensive. Right off the door, they'll be slashed dramatically because of negotiations. And then they can't increase more than the rate of inflation per year, and will grow up to about 30 medications by 2028. And Ron Wyden says the first time we don't have government's hands tied behind their back. Chuck Schumer says it's great. I'm going to do more of this next year. He's going to come back and try to do it better. And we just have praises across the board from Skakowski, Peters, also Sinema, and Wyden. Two provisions of the recon that may fall out next week. We got to see them, and one is very helpful. We just covered it. It's paid leave. Paid leave may fall out, says some analysts. But immigration reform, I believe that one will fall out. It does not really concern you and me, and that is a provision that she has previously ruled cannot stay in there. The Senate parliamentarian is a non-political official whose job is to determine what provisions go by recon and which cannot. It's important to understand that while that incredible vote will be happening this coming week, and we go over the Senate, senators have a lot of programs to add to this recall. And we're currently at about 15,000, and you see, I'm clearly undervaluing it when I say at least 15,000. It may be 30, 40, 50,000, because it repeats all the programs from third stimulus at page 45, and I'm saying 15. So I'm clearly keeping on the low end just to be conservative. But Bernie says he's adding a lot of stuff in there. So what is he adding in there? He says the best bill since the 1960s. But are you adding stuff in there? He says yes, like dental and vision. I'll be coming back to that second. Ron Wyden says he has a lot coming to be added in there across the board. And he says a significant amount of work to be done. Coons and Casey and Schumer all said, get ready for those provisions. So get that pen paper ready. Let's go over some more checks in this incredible recon. These are programs across the board. And here they go. Universal pre-kindergarten, 1 year, 3 to 4 year olds. Front end check. Child tax credit, 1 more year, $3,600. Earned income tax credit, yes, 1 more year, back end check. And then health care. Coverage at home, yes, for people with disabilities and seniors, that's a covered benefit. The hearing aid, covered, but likely as a check. We went over the rent, and then we went and the rehab and the first-time home purchase, and we went over the meals and also the Pell's grant. So what are the two provisions that Bernie wants to put in there? He wants to put in there dental and vision. People are saying, oh boy, that would really help. It would help. So the dental was last in the recon as an $850 check, actually a real check. So Bernie was going to try to push against that because he wants 10 years of full benefits, or at least 3 years of full benefits. The vision is easy. He wants an eye exam and a pair of glasses frames per year. I had one viewer on Mornings LA today saying, $100 for a frame, that doesn't cut it. My frames cost $400. I'm sorry, I don't cover your type of channel. You're buying $400 frames and you're watching this channel? Yeah. Can you donate your stimulus check? I don't even know how you qualify for a stimulus check if you're buying $400 frames. Just the $400 frames. Are you going to lunch with Joe Manchin in that Maserati every day? $400 frames. I just she's not buying $12 ice cream. She's buying $1,250 ice cream. $400 frames. This is not the whole eyeglass. This is the frame. Warby Parker. What is that company called? Warby Parker had wonderful earnings reports today, and it went up 30%. And needless to say, their frames are not $400. So Bernie wants you to have glasses and frames and a pair and a new prescription every year. That's about $150 approximately. That's easy to do it across the board. So let's turn over to student loan debt forgiveness. I'll be coming back into this recon, fourth stimulus recon, in just a second, and tie it up with third stimulus as well, which I really think we need to do. Student loan debt forgiveness. The president forgave one round student loan debt, then a second, then a third. He's offered a fourth. The fourth would be $10,000. Democrats should take it during the holidays. I mean, come on. This is just a no-brainer. Executive order. It's not by recon. It's executive order. And he has already forgiven student loan debts for people who became disabled, people who went into the nonprofit private sector, and people went into the public sector after graduation. The offer of $10,000 would be on top of that. The Democrats should take it. Then the voting is here. That's not the graphic. Student loan debt forgiveness was the graphic I wanted to show you. There you go. So that's not done. Now time to go to fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus, definitely needed. COLA, your benefits are going up next year 5.9%. Surprisingly, some people still don't know this. They did not get the letter, and they haven't found this challenge just now. All your benefits are going up next year 5.9%, but fifth stimulus looks to solve that problem. Fifth stimulus is dealing with the problem that your benefits were behind on calculation for decades, and that this is not still enough, and that's why fifth stimulus is needed. Raise your benefits up one time, then apply a new benchmark, that's inflation, next December 2022. Not this year, but next year. Remember, every time you get a lift up, you never step down. So if inflation is continually 3% every year, you're going to keep on stepping up 3% every year, just for example. So you're going to get this lift up 5.9% starting January 1st. Then fifth stimulus, you're going to get a lift up one time, and then the new benchmark in December. So you're going to get 3 lifts just to start. They're going to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. Finally, tonight I want to do a slightly different commentary than you saw on the afternoon show right before this, which really talked about inflation and the different stimulus packages. What I want to talk about tonight is the importance of really getting money on the come. It's not a new theme. I've covered it on this channel ad nauseum. It's called cashing checks, not tracking checks. I also call it financial independence. I learned last year, in October of last year, when people were waiting for the second stimulus package to happen, and it wasn't in October, that people needed their bills paid. And we did not have rent and utilities under the first stimulus, but it was still out there because they were given extra allotments, these counties and cities. So I was able to sort of able to scrape through the hurdles of government and find that I could get you rent and utilities during those winter months. And I got viewers 250,000. It changed people's lifetimes. And what the message was then is the same message today. If you look across the landscape of what you have at home, you have certain bills. And a lot of bills are paid under third stimulus. And the few bills that aren't paid under third stimulus are paid under fourth stimulus. Beyond that, there is very few bills after that aren't paid. You have all your utility bills. All those are paid under third stimulus. Heating oil, water, gas, electric, telephone. Then your rent, your mortgage, those are covered under third stimulus. And then what is left that you may have in a daily livelihood of your bills? Food. That is SNAP. You get it from Department of Agriculture. So let me bring SNAP back in the equation. We've already covered rent. We've already covered mortgage. We've already covered utilities. What is SNAP? SNAP you get from Department of Agriculture. You pick up the phone and get it. If you qualify for a stimulus check, you likely qualify for SNAP. How much does it pay? An enormous sum of money. As I said earlier in this video, I'm getting people now $25,000 a year, upwards of $28,000 a year for SNAP lifetime. So Mark's brother-in-law getting $25,000 a year, it's going to be $250,000 over the next 10 years. And let's look at the numbers for SNAP that viewers have gotten, if I can pull it up. The numbers for SNAP are started good, and they just grew. They grew enormously. This is how they initially were. SNAP was originally $5,000 for some viewers. Nancy, John got 10, Louis got 18. I remember when I saw that Louis 18, I thought, wow. Then we grew to a lot of people on 20,000. Then we had viewers at 25,000. You need to get that money for SNAP right now. The nonprofits also help for food. So if you don't think the SNAP pays enough, you can also lean on the nonprofits. So we got all those bills paid. What is not paid under third stimulus? Home repairs, if you own your home and you need certain home repairs. Now, nominal home repairs like a broken window covered by the nonprofits. A new space heater, a portable furnace, a new small refrigerator. Nonprofits have paid that for as well for viewers under third stimulus as well. Those nonprofits are featured in the newsletter. So what is left under that you may have in bills on the third stimulus that is not paid for? That you may have left in bills that is not paid for under third stimulus? Car repairs. I've never had anything for car repairs. I probably never will have anything for car repairs. Other than that, clothing. Clothing is not in third stimulus, but the nonprofits help with clothing. Holiday gifts, I did that a few months ago, no longer the case, but they do help with holiday meals, the nonprofit. And with that, then you see that almost the vast majority of your bills can get covered by third stimulus. Sometimes I get surprised by even the viewer, because some viewers have leaned on the nonprofits and learned from this channel, learned from the recordings, and gotten things that I don't even mention. For example, I've had viewers get medical bills paid by the nonprofits. I've had people get homeless people in the shelters. I've gotten people with relocation expenses paid by the nonprofits. I've had people get unusual things from the nonprofits. So if it's a logical expense and you can't afford it, don't presume you can't get it covered by the nonprofits. Now, let's go over the focal point, because I'm seeing a sort of misfocusing in recent days from some people. And the misfocusing is one instrument and one instrument only. And also the focus that you hear something somewhere else and then you get confused coming on to here. So let's do the second one. Boy, it's been, how long has third stimulus been around now? Almost 10 months. And some people still think third stimulus was only about children, and it wasn't. And, I think, there was a wonderful, kind viewer sent me a beautiful message overnight on Instagram, said, you know what, I saw this thing on another place, another channel, and they said there was no money for this. It was like rent or utilities. I watched you. I heard your encouragement. I went and I got the money. I'm glad I didn't follow that nonsense I heard someone else. I heard you and I went and I got it. You really should be blessed. And that's what I like, because I do believe that there's some people who are not inherently negative, that they have been given false information somewhere else, that this does not exist, because third stimulus was only about children. That third stimulus was only for certain states. The third stimulus was only for, that there was nothing for seniors on the third stimulus. All this wrong information. What I can say to you is the following. I'm bringing third stimulus back on the channel. I'm here to help you. I need you to take the not and the don't and doesn't out of your sentence and your mindset. Put it aside. And unless you hear me say it, don't think it's not for you. Don't think it's not for you. I want you to get these sums of money. Now, when we look to forced stimulus is a lot of programs. Every program helps. MSC, monthly IRS stimulus check, is a great provision. It's a great provision. We're advocating our feet off to try to get it in there. But it's one of many provisions. You should never, ever say, I don't want any other provision because I don't qualify for it. Because if you say that, it means you do qualify and you don't want to make the effort to get the money. Or you really don't qualify for the other programs because you make too much money. The only way you don't qualify for these programs is you make too much money. And 99% of the time, it's the first occasion that a person does qualify for the money. They need to just sort of step back a moment and understand, wait a second, I qualify for the money. It's important to always refocus now and then. And refocusing does not mean you forgot about MSC. You never talk about it anymore. Oh my goodness, the graphics on my face. Should I put the graphic on my face again? I should just have a balloon like the Mitch balloon. Okay, the graphics on my face. You can't see me. Here it is. I talk about every video. Here it is. There is the graphic. I'm still talking about it. I'm still here. I'm still advocating for it. I don't think it serves anyone's purpose for me to put up a graphic of what one viewer got when they picked up the phone and called Liz Warren's office 2 months ago. Here's what happened when one viewer called Liz Warren's office 2 months ago. Great. What does that do for us? That could lull you into a complacency that everything is perfect and everything is good. I never want you to think that for legislation, because legislators always are trying to take each other's provisions out. You're seeing that in this recon. Everything for that home purchase price that you love, the purchase price for your first home, it was not in there. It was taken out. Everything for rent and utilities and mortgages, it's all out. It was all out. Maxine Waters had to push to get it back in there. Everyone is out after each other's provisions and to get them to reallocate to their provisions. With that, I hope this refocusing tonight helped you. We always have to spice it up a little bit. And with that, join me next on Evening's Countdown and Stream Stimulus. And then, first of all, subscribe and become a member to get that newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It features all the big money under first through third stimulus, especially third stimulus, the rent, the utilities, the nonprofits. Get that membership newsletter, which comes out 7 p.m. Pacific Standard via 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LA alert system. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and become a member. Continue with me all weekend long, because it's not a situation where you just sort of want to show up when there's a vote with Nancy and then disappear after the vote happens, or wait for the vote, or not be here when the vote happens. You need to learn the programs one at a time. You need to send me those difficult questions so I answer the difficult answers on air, so that we know as Purple Hawks, how to get this money before anyone else. Because it's first come, first serve, and it starts only on LA.